It's time for Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes are preparing for battle, and you're preparing to listen to them. Equally important, this is Fan Warm-Up.
How's it going, everybody? Nice little Tuesday evening. Chilly, frigid, feels like basketball season. I am Brandon Beam. We're going to be joined in a couple of minutes by Ron Stokes over from the Value City Arena. Again, hopefully everybody's Tuesday is going all right. Ohio State, nice little outing in their last game against Purdue Fort Wayne. Boy, it was a little bit different than the first game against IU-Indy, right? First game 118-102. Second game 94-68. Turnover still a thing of a concern, maybe rebounding as well. Bit of news this evening. Devin Royal is not going to play. He's on the availability report. He is out with a hip injury. So we are going to be looking at that. Obviously going to be a big storyline for Ohio State tonight as they get ready to take on App State. But all in all, I think, pretty good first two games. Jake Diebler was pretty adamant in the first, really the entire offseason, that they were going to be much faster tempo and that they were going to be moving the basketball around a little bit more. And I think they've certainly done that through the first games of the season. Bruce Thornton setting a career high on Friday. Friday night was our last game, Reimer. Yeah, all these days are just running together now as we get into college basketball season. You got a football weekend going on. It's Monday. You got Monday Night Football. Who knows what day of the week that it is. But Bruce Thornton on Friday night setting a career high at 38 points against Purdue Fort Wayne. Here was Jake Diebler with his availability yesterday on Bruce's performance last Friday.
I was surprised at the numbers he ended up with because it didn't feel like he was making these like ridiculously challenging shots to get to this total. He really took what the game presented, certainly asserted himself in areas where we needed him to, but when he did that, he got good looks. It wasn't like he was doing that and having to take a bunch of tough shots. So I thought it was a masterful game. My wife told me, she's like, why didn't you leave him in? He could have got 40. And I was like, I had no clue he had, whatever, 38 or whatever it was. So, and I told her, so we got a long season. So by all accounts, he's allowed to surpass that if you'd like.
It is funny through the first couple of games of the season. Like, there has been some history made, right? Like, they were short of the school high for points in a game by 4. I think 4 would have gotten the total high for Ohio State in their program history. And then Bruce Thornton getting to 40 points. It would have been nice to see. Jake Diebler said, listen, man, I'm coaching a game here. I don't know who's got what. All I know is that I'm reading the big board up there.
I feel like some of these assistants should be kind of keeping track or be in the know. Like, somebody should let them know to let Jake know, like, hey, we're kind of close to a record here with either the team total or Bruce just getting 40. Like, let it happen.
Just a little nudge. Like, hey, Bruce has 35, all right? Bruce has got 35 points right now. If he makes a three, he's at 38. Maybe let's just keep him in. He drives to the rack one more time, and then he's getting free throws.
Maybe rip him one more time, just like you did, and just see if he goes on a little spurt then to get over 40.
Exactly.
Do that again one more time, just see if he responds.
That's all you need. A little telling in the ear. You'd be good to go. What about the group that he's got this year? 2-0 on the season so far. Again, a lot of points in the first couple of games. He loves his group because they do have some big-time basketball IQ.
Anytime you start a season, there's going to be some slippage. But what we have is we have a connected group. I've talked really at length about that since this group got together in June. And I think we have a really smart group, a group with a high basketball IQ that is investing a lot of time in watching film and in preparation for each game. So that, when you start to project out, that makes you really hopeful about where we can be even, 2 weeks from now, let alone a month from now or 2 months from now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, right? Without Devin Royal tonight, how do they respond against App State coming up at 6:30? You get Notre Dame on Sunday, then it settled down for a little bit. But as we know, the Big Ten this season is stacked, so you need to get these wins right now before you get into those early.
No bad losses,
right? Like, I think that's the storyline for this Ohio State team this year. No bad losses. You need to win the games that you're supposed to win, and then hopefully win a couple of games you're not supposed to
avoid that dreaded Q4 loss.
Yes, don't do that, and we're certainly not expecting that tonight. Let's go out to the shot and check in with our man, Ron Stokes.
It's time to go inside the Buckeyes with OSU basketball analyst and former captain Ron Stokes.
Ron, good to talk to you again. We talked to you last Friday. Obviously, a major storyline with Devin Royal being out tonight. How does this impact Jake Diebler and the lineup, the rotation? Because I know it's early on in the season, but I think we have a good idea of maybe the minutes that Jake Diebler and staff are kind of doling out, but it might be a whole different lineup. What's going on, Ronnie? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday as well. It impacts everything, all of the above, because Devin Royal is so crucial to this team. But, I'd rather have it happening here today in Columbus against Appalachian State versus on the road against a high caliber opponent. I think it's the right decision for so many different reasons. Here you are, he was limited in playing in the last ball game because of the injury. He came out, made a decision to play, and contributed in a major way. Ohio State the lead was cut to 7, and then he hits a big 3, and then Bruce Thornton comes back, hits a 3, and then Devin hits another play. So he was a big part of Ohio State getting themselves back in charge of that ball game. So clearly when you take that type of weapon on both ends of the floor out of your lineup, it will impact your decision-making as a coach.
What did you make out of Bruce's game on Friday, Ron, against Purdue-Fort Wayne? Again, he's been spectacular. He was great against IU Indy. He was awesome against Purdue-Fort Wayne. It was a career high for him. And really, it's not even the points with Bruce Thornton. 38, regardless. Anytime he put up that amount of points, it is great. But it was the efficiency. He was 14 of 17 from the field. He was almost 83%, Ron. Like, you just don't see that without guys going to the line 15 to 20 times, and that was not his story.
Well, how Jake Diebler feels about his point guard. Feels he's the best in the country. That was a great get for him to remain as a Buckeye. He made a decision not to go or try for the NBA, and for Ohio State to bring him back for his 4th year was huge. He was one of the 3 important parts of coming back in terms of the top scorers, and he's proven everybody that he is one of the most consistent guards in all of America. I love the guy. He's a Buckeye, made a choice to come here from Georgia and wear the scarlet and gray. You know what you're going to get from Bruce. He's not going to turn it over that much. He can make the shots from the outside. He'll drive to the basket. He's such a stabilizing force for this team. So he's a huge reason why you got to be optimistic about Ohio State getting into that NCAA tournament this year, because he is playing lights out. I know it's early, but he's doing all the things he did last year, but even more.
He's shooting 78% from the field this season, Ron. I know we're only 2 games in, but I feel like a guy who shoots a lot like he does and drives to the rack, that is a pretty good percentage. Before we get you out of here, Ron, defense and rebounds, I think, has maybe been the storyline for Ohio State, maybe negatively so far. What are you looking tonight defensively, rebounding, that you think this Ohio State team can improve on?
They got to continue to get better. I mean, the concern is that is a concern, right?
Yeah, correct.
But it's not a major concern unless you find out that they can't get better. I think this team, young enough in the season, early season, they can get better, but they clearly have to improve in those 2 aspects of the game, because the Big Ten is as competitive as it's been in many years.
Ron, thanks for the time. Have a great call this evening with Big Daddy, and we'll check in again on Sunday. A little matinee against Notre Dame, all right?
Absolutely. Go Bucks.
There he goes, Ron Stokes, the captain, with us here on the pregame show. Before we get you out of here, one more from Jake Diebler. What about the couple of things that he has liked so far in the first couple of games this season?
I love the way we're sharing the ball and our efficiency offensively, aside from our turnovers, right, has been really good. The pace we're playing at is good. I think we even still have another gear to get to. So plus and minus there offensively, obviously, when I mentioned the turnovers. Then on the defensive side, I think our defensive connection continues to get better. When I say defensive connection, talking, calling out coverages earlier, thought we executed the game plan better from a scouting standpoint in game 2 than game 1. Then, I think we got to continue to grow in our ability to pressure the ball at times without getting too extended. And then we're going to constantly be monitoring and rebounding. That's such a big key every single game. It doesn't matter who we play. So just okay game 1, better game 2. We'll continue to monitor that as each game as the season progresses.
I think Ron Stokes said it perfectly right there. The only concern with this team is that it's a concern. Now, again, we're early on in the season. You get Notre Dame coming up here on Sunday. That is a 12:30 start. You can, of course, listen to that game like you do every game on the Fan. Let's see a little bit better effort tonight. You got the Buckeyes and App State coming up right here on the Fan.
been listening to Fan Warm-Up. Stay tuned for Buckeye basketball on your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio